real-time news here on Newsfirst, where the people come first. You're joining me, Naveksha Gunasekar, and we start off by taking a look at your headlines.
Veteran singer Nihal Nelson dies. FUTA on strike against new tax reforms. A new act to make violation of media guidelines an offence. 10 arrested for assaulting former Vice-Chancellor of Peradeniya University and his son. Driver in Kolpiti car crash arrested at BIA on arrival from Dubai.
In your top story today, veteran Sri Lankan vocalist, songwriter and composer Nihal Nelson passed away this morning at the age of 76.
One of the most influential singers in Sri Lanka and considered undefeated on the concert stage, Nelson holds the record for the most albums recorded by a Sri Lankan artist with 113 albums. He was among the first Sri Lankan vocalists to release a cassette 1978 with Gune Ayyage Kamare. Nelson was among the first to release a compact disc. Nelson, who holds the record for the most albums recorded by a Sri Lankan artist with 113 albums, was also known for his popular hits such as Pansala Palliya, Kiridunne Daruwantai, Lassanata Pipuna Wanamal, Karuna Suwanda and many more.
The suspect who fled the country following the accident in Kolpiti, which claimed the life of a three-wheeler driver, has been arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport. He was arrested upon his return to the island.
The police noted that following the accident on the 10th, the suspect had fled to Dubai from the BIA at 9:55 that very morning. The police had also obtained a foreign travel ban on the suspect, and he was taken into custody by the immigration officials at the Kattunayake airport on his return to Sri Lanka last night, following which the suspect was arrested by the police. The suspect is a 26-year-old resident from Vallampitiya. The fatal accident occurred on the 10th when a car collided into a three-wheeler in Kolpiti.
The Federation of University Teachers Union began a token strike across the island today against the new tax amendments. Demonstrations are being held opposite several universities in support of this.
The Federation of University Teachers Union, or FUTA, says that due to the strike, academic activities in universities across the island have been disrupted. The lecturers of Sri Jayawardhanapura University extended their support to the strike. The professors of the Peradeniya University also joined the strike, and only pre-scheduled examinations were conducted. The strike also took place at the University of Colombo and Faculty of Arts. The Rajarata University Teachers Association engaged in a demonstration opposite the university this morning under the theme "Let's oppose the unjust tax policy and oppressive budget of the illegal government."
6 students have been arrested in connection with the incident of assaulting the former Vice-Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, Senior Professor Atula Senaratne, and his son. This was following their arrival at the Peradeniya police station.
The suspects, aged between 23 to 25 years, are residents of Nitambua, Sandalangala, Giritale, Matale, Henagamua and Galagambatta areas. 6 more students have been identified in connection with this incident, and investigations are underway to arrest them. On the 10th, a group of students from the Peradeniya University entered the former Vice-Chancellor's official residence and attacked him and his son. Professor Sampath Amaratunga, chairman of the University Grants Commission, stated that around 300 students had joined the attack. The professor also stated that strict legal action will be taken against them. The student status of 12 students who attacked Senior Professor Atula Senaratne and his son have also been revoked.
A debate was held in Parliament today regarding the assault on former Vice-Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, Senior Professor Atula Senaratne, and the university system.
අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමත් අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමත් ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය රැස් වුණ අවස්ථාවේදී
Minister of Transport and Highways and Mass Media Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said a lengthy cabinet discussion was held in this regard together with the President and Prime Minister. He said the President immediately directed for an unbiased special investigation to be carried out on the matter. The head of state has also requested for a special report to be presented. Bandulu Gunawardena stated that the common law of the land should also be applied to universities. Chief Opposition Whip Lakshman Kiriyalla responded saying the SJB condemns this incident. He said they request the law to be strictly enforced on the matter. State Minister of Home Affairs Ashoka Priyantha, also commenting on the matter raised in Parliament, said the houses of several MPs as well as the President were burned to the ground. He said a life was lost. He added, quote, "Perhaps if we had met in Parliament and held a similar discussion like we are today, a proper solution would have been made and perhaps we wouldn't be facing this situation today. I still don't have a house and that's still the case for many MPs," end quote, said State Minister Ashoka Priyantha. However, MP Anupriya Darshana Yapa said those sitting in government and inside cabinet have made similar statements in the past. He asserted that statements alone are not enough. He called for action and warned that failure to do so could lead to severe repercussions in the future.
The Cabinet has approved the drafting of a bill to treat the violation of media guidelines issued by the Election Commission as an illegal act. This is according to the Cabinet spokesman Bandulu Gunawardena speaking at a Cabinet media briefing held this morning.
The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to draft a bill which would enable the violation of media guidelines issued by the Election Commission to be considered an illegal act. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandulu Gunawardena says Cabinet approved a proposal presented by the President to instruct legal draftsmen to prepare a bill to include in the Presidential Elections Act, Parliamentary Elections Act, Provincial Councils Election Act, and Local Government Election Ordinance. The provisions making the contravention of the said media guidelines an electoral offence, or to introduce provisions to consider the violation of media guidelines as an illegal act, each Elections Act. The Cabinet also granted approval to convert the Ampara and Mena urban councils into municipal councils.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa raised questions as to why attempts are being made to privatize Sri Lanka Telecom, a profit-making company, in Parliament today.
Through the 2023 budget presented by the government, it has been proposed to restructure Sri Lanka Telecom. The government is attempting to restructure such profit-making entities is problematic. So we are strictly against selling profit-making entities for cheap prices. This is going to affect not only the economy but also the public security. Neither the President nor government has a mandate for the privatization of public entities. We will provide a more descriptive response at the next parliamentary session. And regarding the concerns raised, the government is not in any way attempting to put the public security at risk. The government is trying to take decisions which will not in any way adversely affect the government sector employees. That is good, but I would like to request you to hold discussions on restructuring with the respective stakeholders by protecting employee rights. Then we would also look into this in a positive manner. The government has the prime responsibility to ensure the stability of the economy. We will not agree on the fact that the President nor government does not have a mandate. Both were appointed in accordance with the Constitution. Constitutionality and legitimacy are two different things. We agree that the President was appointed constitutionally, but legitimacy is decided by the people's sovereignty.
Constitutionality එකයි legitimacy අතරේ
When we look into these two aspects, this is also a legitimate government. We are not going to agree on your point.
අපි පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ අපි එකග වෙන්නේ නැහැ
මම කියනවා තමුන්නාන්සේලාට ජනතා පරමාධිපත්‍යය පිළිබඳව ස්වෛරීත්වය පිළිබඳව විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා නම් යන්න ඡන්දයකට
Right.
ගමු අලුත් පරම
The People's Movement for Reform met with the representatives of the 43rd Brigade and handed over a proposal on how the country can overcome its challenges.
The discussion was held in Colombo with the participation of a group of people including senior journalist Victor Ivan and the 43rd Brigade led by MP Patali Champika Ranawaka.
Sri Lanka is buried in a major crisis. We do not think that a single government or party can resolve this crisis. We have come here to discuss this as it is necessary for everyone to join together and create the necessary environment for the safety of the country and its people. Our stance is that we have to go for a common platform in order to rebuild this bankrupt country. We are already too late. The medicine, food, fertilizer, oil and coal sectors as well as the country's banking system are at great risk. We emphasize the need for an economic and political program that is independent and does not lead to controversy.
In news overseas, India says its forces have clashed with Chinese troops in a disputed area along the border, the first such flare-up in more than a year.
The nations had been working to de-escalate tensions since a major clash killed at least 24 troops in 2020. But on Monday, the Indian Army said there had been a clash in the Tawang sector of Arunachal Pradesh state last Friday, the eastern tip of India. Both sides were involved, with a few soldiers suffering minor injuries. China is yet to comment on the standoff, but Reuters reported an Indian Army source saying at least 6 Indian troops were injured. The Indian Army said both sides immediately disengaged from the area. It added that commanders from both sides had held a meeting immediately after to restore peace and tranquility.
A man accused of making the bomb that downed Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland 34 years ago was told he would not face the death penalty as he appeared in a US court.
The US alleges that Abu Aguila Masood was a Libyan intelligence operative and played a key role in the 1988 attack, which left 270 people dead. Scottish and US officials announced on Sunday that Masood was in US custody. He is the first person charged on US soil in connection with the attack. A device on board the Boeing 747 exploded as the flight was flying over the English-Scottish border, killing 243 passengers, 6 crew and 11 local residents on the ground, including a family of 4. It remains the deadliest terrorist incident to have taken place on British soil. At Monday's hearing, US Magistrate Judge Robin Merriweather elected to delay the formal reading of charges until after Masood secures legal representation for his trial. He did not enter any plea.
Belgian investigators searched offices at the European Parliament in Brussels on Monday in a probe into alleged bribes from World Cup host Qatar.
It was the 20th search carried out in Belgium since Friday, and the Parliament President Robert Metsola warned MEPs that democracy is under attack. Belgian police have arrested 4 people, among them European Parliament Vice President Eva Kaili, a Greek MEP. Qatar has denied any wrongdoing. MEPs will debate the scandal on Tuesday. Since Friday, the IT resources of 10 parliamentary employees have been frozen to prevent the disappearance of data necessary for the investigation. Prosecutors said in a statement that the 4 suspects arrested by Belgian police have been charged with participation in a criminal organization, money laundering and corruption.
6 people, including 2 police officers, have been shot dead after a suspected ambush at a remote Australian property.
Police said they had been searching for a missing person in a locality west of Brisbane, Queensland, when they were fired upon. After a lengthy siege, 3 suspects were fatally shot by police. A motive remains unclear. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called it a heartbreaking day for Australia. 4 Queensland police officers initially went to a property on Monday afternoon after a request from New South Wales Police. Police said 26-year-old Matthew Arnold and 29-year-old Rachel McCrow, both constables, were shot dead as they approached. Another officer suffered a bullet graze and the 4th escaped the property. An unnamed neighbour, aged 58, was also killed by the suspects during the siege. after going to investigate.
The Jaffna Kings won their match against the Colombo Stars by 6 runs in the Lanka Premier League cricket tournament yesterday. In Qatar, stay tuned to TV1, the champion network, to catch the exhilarating action. And that's a wrap of Lunchtime News. Thank you for joining. Have yourself a great day ahead.